Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
If you've been hurt in a road accident that wasn't your fault, you should really talk to G4 Claims first. Unlike road accident solicitors, we don't charge you for our services, which could see you better off. To keep 100% of your compensation, have a chat with Nicole and the team. You'll be glad you did. Search online for G4 Claims.
Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sellik the Thunder podcast for the final time this season. We all join as one. We're all here today in the studio, all four of us, Kieran, Dylan and Calum, for the final edition of the podcast this season. What a ride it's been, and it's been a pleasure to have these lads beside me. We're going to do the lot today. We're going to recap, we're going to review, we're just going to look back on what has been a somewhat successful season for Celtic. So, starting on that note, the man beside me, Mr. Kieran Auld. Final time this season, son. Chin, another one down.
And I was actually, I've had to toast this down. I didn't know the proper etiquette there.
Tango.
Nah, it's been a great season, and I was actually thinking to myself when you were talking, like, this might be our most consistent for a few years anyway, in terms of how many shows we've done.
I mean, if you take away the international breaks, which we always take off anyway, then this year we've been pretty solid.
Well, during the course of the show, I'm going to look and see how many exactly we've done, because that's where it's got to be.
I know, I should have really I came in with the facts and figures and the stats and such.
Man, you were prepared last year. McGinley got a fucking trophy.
McGinley demanded preparation, you know, he was the standard bearer of the show.
Hence that's why he works for the Celtic way.
Hence the reason he's moved on to a real job. But thank you for joining me, Kieran. You're doing good though, I assume. Yes.
I thought you were saying, you're doing good in the podcast. Cheers. It's not quite a trophy.
It's took 145 episodes. I'm going to say, you're doing alright, mate.
I'm a wee pat in the back. I know it's been good. Well, we're getting into the summer, if you would believe it. You wouldn't if you looked outside and seen the weather, but I know we're getting there.
Aye, so that's Kieran. He'll be here to bless you with some opinions.
There'll be plenty tonight.
Over the next hour. Across the table from me, I'll start with you, Dylan, because you're directly in my line of sight here.
Aye.
Very romantic. How are you doing?
It's quite nice, isn't it?
How are you?
No, I'm alright. It's good to be back for the last time, and we've made it. So
you made that sound like you're not coming back.
No.
Is this your resignations? I might bring you a trophy.
I thought I was going to get sacked. No, it's been brilliant. So it's good to be back for the last one of the season.
Brilliant. It's been a good first season, huh?
I can't complain. I was wanted to walk in here with a treble, but a double day when it the league's the main thing, so I will talk about it. But happy days, I guess. Overall.
And right beside Dylan, for the final time this season, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Calum Craig. How you doing?
The fans go wild.
I hear a lot of pops.
Good mate. Obviously, it's just kind of, I feel like the season's flown by. Like, generally, I feel like we're coming in just done pre-season last year. I'm like, right, class, look forward to a good season, getting a positive start, and then before we know it, we're talking about the league's finished.
Well, it's nuts because if you think back to the start of the season, Dylan was not on board yet. It was us three. We were still waiting to replace the outgoing Ryan McGinley, and that feels like wasn't it that long ago, really?
No, it's just I just can't believe how quick it has been. Like, we're even talking like last couple of weeks on the way here, how quick they've flown in as it is. But no, as Dylan touched on, quite good. It's not a treble, but doubles will do.
Well, that's going to be one of the overwhelming topics today. One of the ones we'll talk about quite a bit. The failure of Celtic's Scottish Cup final against Aberdeen. Will it define Celtic's season when we look back on this campaign? I think that is one of the top questions after Saturday's Cup failure. So I guess we should start with that. I know we want to reminisce in a positive way, Kieran, but you can't come into a season recap or a end of podcast season review without talking about that cup final. So I'll let you kick us off. Your thoughts after Saturday.
I mean, I would love to come in here and not have to talk about it, but I'm afraid that's not the name of the game. So, I mean, it was a very disappointing end to the season, if you buy it. Was usually it's the cherry on top at the end, getting the Scottish Cup, but I mean, the way we worded it on Saturday in the immediate aftermath was you can't win them all. you had a lot of people that were obviously going to take to social media and be the over-the-top reactionary. And I'm like, I seen the perfect tweet, mind, we seen the guy who's like, just put the phone down.
Aye.
Like, everybody's going to be raging tonight, just don't disgrace yourself.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, we've had the best part of 5-6 days now to get over what was a very disappointing game. I mean, even for the get-go, you kind of felt there was certain things happening. Even when we were 1-0 up and we were missing these chances, in the back of my head, I didn't want to believe it, but I was like when we were hitting the post, hitting the bar, I was like, something's not right here, this might not be our day. And that's a mental thing to think when you're already 1-0 up, but it just speaks to the level of performance we were really seeing on the park. It was a bit unimaginative. I think we would come into specifics, but you're missing maybe some creative sparks in the midfield area, just things like that. And as you're watching it, you're kind of feeling we were letting Aberdeen back into the game. Bit of a calamitous goal to get away, which I will add, I've not watched back because I cannot bring myself to do it, even though I'm coming on here to talk about it. I'm still guessing what happened.
Honestly, I'm just going off what I seen in the ground still to this day. I've not
Fuck off.
watched the highlights. I've not watched them.
But it was not a good day at the office, but I'm not going to let it spoil what has been a great season. And that's the thing, you can't come into seasons thinking, I mean, you can have an expectation of a treble, but in a sense you shouldn't, because a treble shouldn't be something that's expected every year. You're having to compete for these trophies. People maybe rocked up on Saturday thinking it was a foregone conclusion. I've seen a lot of maybe discourse about that on Twitter and the opinion of the fans going into it, but I'm sure we'll delve more into it, but that's just my initial thoughts.
Calum, was that maybe speaking to what we should remind ourselves, that these trebles historically are difficult to win, no matter how far ahead of the competition Celtic might be, it's historically been difficult to win. I mean, Celtic having a financial gulf between them and the rest of Scotland isn't new. It's something that's existed for the last 10 years. It's something that's existed for the last 20 years, with Celtic and Rangers being at the top. It's existed throughout the entirety of Scottish football. I mean, granted, Rangers have been there kind of side by side for the majority, but it is tough to win, and it's the reason Bayern don't win the League and Cup every year. It's the reason PSG don't do it every year. It's the reason other teams. Is it? I'm always feeling like I'm in danger of us just sounding like we're agreeing with each other, but I assume that you're kind of on the same page just from some of the conversations we've had already.
Oh, massively. I think, as Kieran said, it was just one of those ones that did just seem like a tough day at the office. Things weren't kind of breaking your way, kind of with a massive kind of like drive forward that felt through the first half of the game. And I thought, right, surely go and take something. You just wasn't for happening. Eventually, obviously, you get the luck with a goal, and you break it, and you're right, brilliant. And then we let Aberdeen back into it. It felt almost as if we're like, it's as if you're playing tag with somebody, you know you're much faster, but I'll just slow down. Something wee daft as that. And then you get caught and you're like, oh fuck, like, what do we do now?
Aye.
It didn't seem like we had, as just touched on, we didn't have that creative spark that was going to be that thing that gets you ahead again. And then I think I'd just touch on there, if trebles were that easy, folk would do it left, right and centre. It's not, so I think we need to not dwell too much on the cup final as much, and we kind of need to look at the success we've had and that double throughout the season.
Dylan, you're the only one that wasn't at Hampden out of the four of us at the weekend, so you had a different perspective of it, because when I spoke on the channel after the game, I said that on the bus there was a kind of unanimous feeling of that was shite, but you know, we move. And I feel like that was the kind of feeling walking at the ground as well. What did you think watching from home? What was your immediate reaction? It's the first time I've got to speak to you since the game, so what are you thinking?
It's just pretty much the same views, to be honest. It's like, obviously it hurts and it's a bit disappointing. I think it's mainly just because we spoke about last week, the record against Aberdeen this season. The 5-1 at Batody with that reserve team, the 6-0 the last time we played at Hampden. But credit to Aberdeen, it was one of the ones, I think what Kieran said, you were 1-0 up, you were just something that didn't feel right still. You couldn't get that second chance, and I get Aberdeen back into the game. I feel a bit sorry for Schmeichel. It's one of the ones, like, when you see it on the TV, because obviously he's with the game, you can see that the dangerous balls like come across the 6-yard box, and you see what he's trying to do, but it's just the way he's messed it up. But it's a rare mistake for Schmeichel, and these things happen in football. But as you said, we've got the league, got the double, and just after that, just the bigger picture is it's still been a good season, and these things happen.
I mean, feel free to jump in, anybody, whenever you like, but I guess it's the age-old narrative of, you know, Celtic were minutes away from not having these conversations. How different would the social media reaction have been if Celtic won the game? Was the performance good enough? No, of course it wasn't. We demand more, we expect more. But Aberdeen set up in a way that they had to have any chance of winning the game, and they executed it. Celtic struggled. But I don't think it calls for catastrophic, analysis of things. It's just it's a bump in the road of hopefully something that Brendan Rodgers will recover from next year.
I think it is. There's obviously areas that people will look at, and rightfully so, and think, right, we can make upgrades in certain positions. Things can be better for next season if I want to progress. But I don't think it is a sort of situation where we need to rip the entire team apart. And obviously emotions are high after losing a treble and things like that. But maybe there's been, once again, we're speaking on this podcast about maybe a slight overreaction for some areas.
How do you win that battle? Because when you say that it's an overreaction, people go, "Oh, you're a happy clapper," or "You're such and such." And
I've learned to start not caring. But I get on other people's cases, but we'll come to that later. I mean, there is a fine line, as you said, between being a happy clapper, but I think it's also about being realistic. And if you win a double, and the fact that you've got some people calling it a bit of a disaster, that in itself is a bit fucking ludicrous. But the manner we lost the final, I think, upped people, because as Calum was saying, as soon as they got the goal back, we did kind of look clueless. And in the ground, I was sitting thinking to myself, they're going to win this in 90 minutes. They kept getting corner after corner at the end as well. And you're thinking, fuck, we've completely let our guard down here. During extra time, you still don't really have any confidence that we're going to get another goal. And then as soon as it went to penalties, I was like, it's a poor end as well. I've not seen Celtic win a penalty shootout of that. I was like, alright, I'll get you on the bus.
I wish you didn't on the bus, now that you say that.
I think as well, that's what Kieran said, that sort of makes it more annoying. See the fact that after Aberdeen equalised, Celtic didn't really look like they had an answer.
We looked done in.
It was like, as Kieran said, Aberdeen had so many chances, they could have even won it themselves in 90 minutes, and even in extra time they made it a bit uncomfortable. I think the only chance I remember Celtic having was that Schlupp chance where it was an absolute rocket. There would have been some goal, but
it's crazy when you think about the Maida chance as well.
Oh, the Maida chance, that was probably the main only chance.
If he scores that, once again, similar to saying if we don't concede the goal, if he scores that, we're not having this conversation right now. He's just had a not bad day at the office. But you're right, Dylan. I think what you're just saying there in the terms of, the closing stages of the game, and especially in extra time. I think, Calum, I don't know about you, but one of the things that was really evident to me at the weekend is, for as much as we bang on about Celtic's depth, and I was saying that I don't care what team goes out, they should be able to beat Aberdeen, I still believe that. But if you look at the 11 that finished the game in extra time, I think there's a reason why we weren't maybe getting as much as we'd like, because between the 6 or 7 knackered players who are still in the park, the 5 subs aren't maybe the game winners that you're hoping for off the bench. I think it was plainly evident we still hadn't found somebody to come in and be a second striker behind Ida. We didn't replace Kyogo. Plainly evident we missed Rio Hatate in that midfield depth, and it was just that Jota being out. You could tell Celtic, and it's no excuses, but you could tell Celtic just weren't in the best place for that sort of extra time period.
No, not at all. I think it was that kind of the lack of attacking players, if you will. As we said, somebody that's going to come on and change a game for you. Because again, you're bringing on, again, well due respect, like Jeffrey Schlupp, and you're a bit like, see really the man that's going to change it for you in the middle of the park. Like, again, Johnny Kenny, feel unfortunate for him, because again, you look at his record, I get obviously over at Shamrock as a bit, probably similar levels with league with us, but again, you're like, he's a cracking record, he's just been unlucky with his chances. It's something, obviously, when you touched on there, the team that finished the game, I'm a bit, is that, like, as much as we banged on how good a squad depth we have, is that actually what we have? Like, I feel bad for them.
To me, the subs that were made, what was it, about the 60th?
It was quite early, wasn't it?
It was very early to be making the 3 changes, and again, we were on tap. We weren't taking many chances. Maybe it was just for that freshness, but I said it to my dad when I spoke to him about it the next day. I was saying, they subs to me were the kind of subs you make if you're like 3-0 up at Celtic Park in a standard league game, and like, the tie's all but done. It felt like that kind of substitution, and then I think that weakened us to the point where it allowed Aberdeen to get back into the game. I don't want to place the blame upon the shoulders of the 3 subs that came on, but I think maybe Rodgers does have to take a wee bit of blame for that, in the sense that it kind of shifted the dynamic of the game, and to me it just wasn't the right time to make such a wholesale change all at the one time, especially when we never had that 2-goal cushion. It was 1 goal. The game was still on a knife's edge, and it didn't go away in the end.
Well, I mean, it gives Rodgers food for thought, and apparently is tonight Sky Sports are dropping this interview
tomorrow
night. So, I mean, we can't really comment on it just now, sadly, but there's going to be this interview where they've showed the clip. He says he's going to have to sit down and he's going to have to talk to Dermot Desmond. Now, I wanted to keep the second half of the show exclusively to previewing next season, what we expect, but this is the kind of thing, Calum, that I hope that Brendan Rodgers looks at and he uses it as his motivation to make sure it doesn't happen again, to make sure that he demands exactly what he needs out of the board. And I know we throw about the joke, oh, Rodgers is making a point, but I hope he does make his point, and I hope that those substitutions in the Cup made the point that there's still a lot of work to be done, even in the last year of his contract.
Definitely, I think the biggest point in just there is him using this to make a point towards him, even if this is, I know next season, so he's going to be like, that's his last contractual year. I hope he does go out and say, well, if this is going to be my last year, I want to go all at it. But if you want to keep me here, I still need to continue to see backing. And I know there'll be folk, I've seen them in Twitter and we'll see them in the comments, oh, but he spent 20 plus million on, like, he did a job, that's fine, but again, we still need to continue to develop this team. There still needs to be changes. We've seen it with teams just go stale. We've seen it, for example, at the 9 in a row when we went in the run, and we never really seen much changes. And look what happened to it. You need freshness continually.
He said it first hand himself. These exact words, Dylan, were, I want freshness, I need freshness. And I think that the Cup final basically just solidified that there maybe isn't a freshness needed, an injection of freshness into this Celtic side. Are you confident of picking back up next year and finding ourselves with 3 trophies? What are you thinking as the season comes to an end?
Oh, definitely. I think it's that way. I was unlucky as well. I think in the final, James Forrest took off as well when he came on. But I think Calum's right. I think you always need a freshness, especially when you're adding to. You just want to keep getting better every season. I think the Champions League was a real improvement this season. Still got a double, but you always want to keep going and make it more exciting. So I think it's not too much to be done, but you know the areas you want to improve on. Well, I do anyway. Obviously the striker, maybe the centre defensive mid, and just to get more quality off the bench, because we've seen it a lot this season. A couple of the players in the Cup final, like your Yangs and that, is it their last chance? We've seen it, they've had moments here and there, but has it been enough to keep their place? And I think you've seen Ange's second season, I think it was, the bench was quite good, so it's always nice to have a stronger bench, and you've got that option. As long as people are happy and their morale's up, you've got that option for the bench. So next season, I think that's one of the main things, just to add to the squad depth.
Well, the Cup final is in the rear view mirror for now, and it's time that we look back on our season, and it's time to talk about the highlights, the positives, and the reaction that comes following it, because I know that online right now there seems to be an uneasy sort of, I don't know if I'd call it an imbalance amongst the Celtic support, where you've got people maybe like us four who are sitting here on our podcast together saying, good season, had a great time following Celtic, but then you've got people who are maybe feeling shortchanged. They're feeling like there is genuine criticisms. I think there is obviously criticisms, and we'll touch on that, but it's been a great season. Firstly, let's just get out of the way. I think we all agree on the Neil Lennon Player of the Year for the 2024-25 campaign.
Yes, I think that's a foregone conclusion, to be fair. Dyson Maeda.
Honest departure of the club, Scott Bain, ladies and
It's a
gentlemen.
sad day in Glasgow.
Dyson Maeda, it's got to be.
I don't think there's any question.
I just thought we'd rip the bandage off and get it out of the way, you know.
I think not like close one was Kuhn, but that was the first half of the season. Obviously, Maeda's just, I think it's probably the first year in a while it's been like so obvious, maybe, I guess you could say.
I mean, last year I remember sitting here in this exact situation, us three and McGinley, and it was like, oh, it is O'Reilly, but there was I remember saying like, could be Joe Hart. I think I gave my vote to Joe Hart, in fact, if I remember right. But this year I think it's a unanimous Dyson.
I mean, we've sat here week after week all season long and waxed lyrical about him. I don't know how much more we can brown nose him to this point. He's been a revelation this season compared to, I mean, prior to this season he was known for being the workhorse and that, but this season he's completely upped his game, added goals, assists, and he's been a talisman for us, especially when you've got Kyogo departing halfway through the season, no replacing him, as we touched on as well. But I think he's just been so important to this team, and it's good to have that consistency back up there.
Any closing words at the other side of the table on Dyson? Anything you'd like to say to him if he's watching?
Please just stay. just stay.
It just shows you the importance of the player when you spread his season out in numbers. But him staying would be a huge boost.
Oh, massively. I think even like the players that here, it gives him a massive boost, and even the manager for him to say, right, we've just had this season off him, let's try and get that again, let's push forward with this now. And again, I think it would then kind of helps the manager out in terms of where they need to look at strengthening as well in certain places. So please stay.
So versatile, Dylan. So important.
Just as you said, bang on, and just the fact that even his goals, it's like you could score all the goals and it's no important goals, but the fact he did it in the cup final against Rangers, did it in the Champions League with the most goals, he's just always there for the big games, and it's just a real credit to him, because we always said the last couple of seasons he's got a work rate, as you said, but the fact he's added his shooting, even just his all-round game, not just that, he's just like got so much better, even like his crosses and that. We see the odd wild bat now and again still, but it's definitely been a
flashes of Dyson come out, such as the final minutes of the Scottish Cup final.
But nah, it's been a real improvement, and real credit to him, because Kieran says Kyogo coming out halfway through the season, and he still stepped up and continued that form into the second half of the season.
Well, I mean, congratulations, Dyson. You joined the list. I can't remember it in full, but I know Matt O'Reilly won it last year. I'm pretty sure we gave it to Turnbull in the COVID season.
I'd imagine Kyogo would have won it.
Yeah.
Andrew's second season.
So one day I'll have the life-size Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy with Neil Lennon seed on it. I'll get it one year when I have it.
Somehow got to the next time. Get a photo of the players out.
Excuse me, you can get more of it. Recapping on the season, it's, Celtic are a side that demand the league title, and you've got to balance that. I expect you touched on it with the Scottish Cup. You can't just go in and think it's won, but I think the fans expected that excellence, especially with the unsure nature of what was going on at the other side of the city. And we've came out the other side, Kieran, of a team that almost broke the goal record. We scored 112 goals in the league this season, 92 points. We started the season especially with a real ferocity that kind of was on par with what we've seen under Ange. Petered out a wee bit, of course, but kind of happens when you win the league by Christmas, doesn't it?
I suppose there's been that argument about maybe the drop standards and levels across different points of the season, but then you see games where you think, right, that's us hit the groove again. Then it's just been the second half of the season has been that wee bit more up and down, but we always said that we've afforded ourselves that luxury by how well we started the season, and I mean, echoed by the fact that that's 3 games against Rangers this season were essentially dead rubbers because of how well we'd done, how poor they had done, and fell behind us. But gotten into this season, I mean, I'd need to go back and watch to see what my level of, like, if I thought it was going to be close this year or not, because you need to remind yourself last year, well, the season before, we were in what was a close title race until the split maybe, and we sort of
pulled away
at that point. But Rangers were in front the season before for a good wee while. They slipped up, we took a chance. It was a closer title race that year than it had been for years. But this year, we've once again bowled them at the water. But I'd imagine at the start of the season, I was expecting us to win it, obviously, but I don't think I would have been expecting by such a big margin. But I'm very happy with how it's panned out.
And it's a nice surprise if you win it by that margin. You will have seen the suffering of your opposition, all the rest of it. But Dylan, it still calls for that professionalism to last over the season. And I know it's easy for us to say, we dipped a wee bit following Christmas, or season kind of went downhill for Munich and blah blah. But did it really? Because we ended up going out and beating the likes of Aberdeen by huge score lines. I remember some great performances at Celtic Park and away from home at the end of the season. Of course, you had your wee slip-ups like St Johnstone, short kind of loss up there, but you've got to sustain that professionalism, and it's a real testament to what Rodgers demands out of these players for us to go out there and make sure we get over the finish line in the manner that we did.
I think it's that way as well. It was our first season with extra Champions League games as well in the January-February period. So I think you're right, Ryan. The fact that even though we had that wee dip, the St Johnstone game, I think Rodgers called it out a wee bit and just was like, we still need to finish in a high. And as you said, there was a couple of games here and there where we stood out brilliantly towards the end of the season. I think it was about 3 games we scored 5 in a row, like 5 goals in a trot. So I credit to Celtic, and I think even it was just such a weird feeling. As Kieran says, last season it was a bit closer and Rangers could have easily won the league, but Celtic pulled through in the split and stuff. But the fact that we lost the derby games and we still had that gap just showed the fact of how good Celtic were at the start of the season, which helped get into the second season. So I think that just shows the credit to the team, and I ended superbly.
Calum, your thoughts on the season in general? Anything you'd like to add to what the boys have already said?
No, I think the two have kind of hit a nail on the head there a bit. I think it just showed how dominant we actually were at the start. That run in between sort of like August right up until December, that was very strong, and obviously the cup as well. The more European results, everything was going well for us. Then kind of tailed off a wee bit, and then I think obviously can tell a couple of words have been said. Just kind of pull the team back in. Munich's obviously, it's gutting, you're going out with basically the last kick of the ball, that's what puts you out, and you're potentially a chance to go into extra time, see where it takes you. But then, no, I think it's been a successful season. I think folks need to make sure we don't overlook that.
That's kind of one of the topics that we were planning on touching on, is overlooking this success and overlooking the glory days that we're living through. When you put it out in the chart, you 2012 onwards, and you put out that chart, Celtic have won everything bar, 5 or 6 of the competitions all in. We'll look back in this in 20 years' time and go, what the fuck were people moaning about? We really will wonder. And that's been one of the things that's came up again recently online, following the disappointment in the cup final, is that people going on about, the league's just not enough, or domestic success isn't enough. But why should it be overlooked? This is the bread and butter for Celtic, and it's easy to say, it's the bare minimum, but the minute you don't win something, it's the end of the world. So where do you find that balance? I know it's been bothering you the last couple of days, Kieran.
Bothering might be an understatement.
I'm in the same psyche as you. I'm in the same state of mind. I just don't get it.
I mean, it's the point you raised there, but about, people are coming out and saying, it's no enough and that, but as you said, when we lose, it is an absolute unmitigated disaster, and the whole squad needs ripped apart, the manager needs to walk, it's all this sort of nonsense. But you've got people maybe peddling the stuff that we've been hearing for fans of the smaller teams in Scotland for years, that it doesn't matter as much to yous as it does to us. Yous must get bored of winning. And I've had to bite back every time and say, you don't get bored of this. If you're sat there being bored of your team winning trophies, then it makes you question the level of your support for the team. And having seen that article last night, and you can look at some of the points about talking about progression in Europe, everybody can agree on things like that, but to diminish the achievements of this team that you've paid money to go and watch, go home and away, go other places in Europe, to diminish the achievements of your team, to play up to the fans of these wee teams and give them reason to think that they're right in saying that they get bored. The sense of, I'm starting to sound like one of the older ones, but the sense of entitlement as off the charts, if you are honestly believing that, it actually angers me so much.
You were sworn to destroy this if not become. This podcast started out as something we were really vocal about in regards to the treatment we were getting. I remember when we were pushing Lenny out the door, was that we were the entitled brigade and we were the...
No, but see, when you look back on that time, that was a genuine time where Celtic were terrible. And that season, we were awful. The full squad was needing rebuilt. We got lucky with Ange, but now we're in a period where we've seen us win every league title since that season's passed. Mm-hmm. We've dominated again. We picked up for where we left off before the COVID season, and now you've got fans out there saying that they're bored of it and talking about how it doesn't really matter domestically and that they only really care about Europe. And to me, that's baffling.
Aye.
Some of the points being raised is genuinely insulting to so many people that love this club, and I really don't get it at all.
It seems to be a narrative that's came out this year. I don't feel like I've had it ever displayed before until now. I mean, there's been murmurs that I remember a couple of years ago driving home for a game and it was on Clyde 1 and somebody phoned in and said, I left the game at half time, we were up 4-0, what's the point in staying? I'm fed up with beating these teams every week. I'm like, so it has always existed, but now I feel like it's prevalent.
It's the article as well was they found themselves feeling happy for the Aberdeen fans, and I'm like, well, I don't think many people would agree with that. Everybody left that stadium gutted that we didn't win the cup, and if you left there feeling happy that somebody else won, I'm like, you can think that about other leagues. Sometimes I like rooting for somebody that isn't Man City, and you want Randolph to win, but when it's your own team, I'm not sitting there actively hoping my weird team beats us because it's a narrative or a storyline. If you want narratives and storyline, go watch fucking MLS. Honestly, what sort of pish is that? But they would rather see the drama, and I get that when you're ahead, that kind of dissipates for the league. We talked about how we were so far ahead and things like that, but so you would rather the sort of sentiment you get for these opinions though is that they would prefer the narrative and drama. It's as if they want us to lose a league for them to care again. Mm-hmm. That's how do you get bored of success is what I'm meaning. Like, how can you get to that point? How fucking miserable do you need to be if you're not looking upon these times as what is probably going to be the fucking glory days? Like even they were talking about levels of domination and things. You can talk about close titles and that, but one of the best seasons I've ever had following Celtic was Angie's second season. Some of the football and display that season, we were miles ahead of the rest, but from beginning to end that season, it was probably my favourite in my lifetime of watching Celtic. And you've got people out here saying that they're bored of winning. You honestly need help if that's your point of view.
Well, across the table, what do you think? In regards to that, I know that Calum, you said a few things last night in the group chat when we seen sort of an emergence of stuff online. What's your first thoughts that come to your head? That if Kieran hasn't already eloquently displayed your thoughts.
I think it's just madness to me that there's folk out there that do have that. They want storylines, they want drama. As Kieran said, go watch Mouse, go watch Coronation Street if you want drama. Go and do something like that. Like,
we had to about the WWE.
but like, how folk can ever peddle that narrative? It must be boring winning all the time. No, like that's like saying, it must be so boring feeling happy. Like, no, it's just I cannot wrap my head around it at all. I get, yes, it's been disappointing at points during the run with Europe. Yes, I get that. There is progression to be done there. But again, see, actually seeing us win a good few games. I know it's games we should have done, but games I win against, like, for example, Bratislava, first game you got into, 5-0, 5-1? Got at that. Mate, that sense of you, like, that feeling alone, you're like, Brown, it's like when watch the team go win another game in Europe. Folk are then like, but we didn't quite beat Bayern. Bratislava and Bayern are fucking night and day against each other.
It's almost like as if, Dylan, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. You go and win a treble, or you go and do really well. We've not won a treble this year, so let me try and put it into more, kind of current terms. But you go out and you have a great season, you do your best, you come close to a treble, but you're damned. But then if you go out there and you finish second and you don't win any cups, then it's even worse. So as I said, it just kind of feels like there's no winning. How do you even navigate it? Is it just, is there such a detachment of that period of time where we were playing European football and people are maybe just hungry for it? There's maybe an impatience in the support. What do you think causes the sort of, I don't know
I
where it comes from.
don't understand if it's just because of the margin we've finished the league by this season, if people think it's that. But as Kieran counts, it just baffles you. Like, see, when we go back to the COVID season, we're talking about the shambles Celtic were in the 25 points behind Rangers and stuff like that, and you were just like, I don't understand how people could get bored of winning a title every season. See, when it came to Ange's first season, I was pretty, as soon as he helped turn the ship around, I was like, I'm just praying it stays like this again, because I couldn't see that one season of COVID. It felt like an eternity. So I would rather be bored and win titles every season than timey. So, but I don't find it boring. I'll always find a way to enjoy it like you. It's one of the best days, and hope it keeps continuing, because as you say, like, you can't even like, you need to, people might take this for granted, but wait, who's to say we're going to win the league definitely next season? So if you come here next season and we have not won the league, would you go back to want to be having a bold season? Because I would take that all day long, if that's what you're calling it. But I definitely haven't thought it's been boring at all, and I hope it may continue, because
See, one of the things I was thinking about trying to remove myself from the perspective that we watch the games and things, for me, the football isn't just as black and white as the 90 minutes on the pitch. It's the experiences are gone to the games. It's everything around it. It's how do you find joy in...
When I start
the
my
other
week on a
aspects?
Monday and Celtic are playing at home at the weekend, I'm fucking delighted, because I know that Celtic said at the end of the week, even if the 90 minutes itself is going to be a bit routine, if it's one of the games, St Mirren are coming to Celtic Park and Stephen Robinson's about to drop a terrorist masterclass, I still know that I'm going to get the enjoyment of meeting you, potentially going for a pint before or after the game, and the whole experience that comes alongside it. And then I've got the European games, which is even better, because I'm jetting off to fucking... And I know everybody gets that luxury, so I can get that some people don't get that part of it. Fair enough. But as you said earlier, to take the words out your mouth, to then diminish that for every other supporter is what baffles me.
It's just this is what we missed during COVID. I mean, obviously we can talk about the actual COVID season, how terrible Celtic were, but the very fact that we were reduced to just watching on a screen, being so far removed from what it means to actually support a team, to go to the games, to experience everything around it, it's a social aspect.
My closing thoughts to everything, regardless of who writes it, regardless of who it is that's peddling the same narrative, because I ultimately feel it's feeding into the right people. It's feeding into the Hugh Keevans of this world, who like to add in that element of Celtic winning bad, the Graham Spearses of this world, the Tom Englishes of this world. It's feeding right into them, right? If you're a Celtic supporter no matter what fucking creed or whatever you come from, no matter what fucking podcast you listen to, I don't care what podcast people want to listen to. You know what? I realise that I'm a wanker at a microphone. My opinion should mean fucking nothing. And this is why I hope that people don't live by the things that any particular blogger or writer or journalist or podcaster will tell them. Because in this fucking world right now, where there is so much misery and there's so much fucking depression with wars and shite with unemployment and politics and daily fucking life, to let it creep into your enjoyment of your football team, which is meant to be an escape, is meant to be the release valve for all the life's daily stresses, to start letting it seep into that, I just don't understand it. If you cannot take the joy of watching your club winning a fucking double, or you can't take the joy of your team winning a league title, and you need to bring your fucking downer into it, it's not meant for you. It's no, because that's what's called for in the COVID season, as Dylan touched on. That's when you can let the fucking depression seep its way in, when you're watching your team get shagged. But I just, in this world, it's so full of fucking downers at the minute, when there's such an upper with Celtic Football Club.
That way, even at your worst like that COVID season, you still want to change it for the world. I mean, like you said it there, like when it's the start of the week, you look forward to the weekend, meeting your mates, go to the games, you could lose, you could win, but at the end of the day, look at the money we're paying for season tickets. Not like we don't want to change it like that, and it's always never going to be boring being a Celtic fan.
I love that, Dylan. I love that.
Thank you.
Good summary. And on any closing thoughts before I take us into half time? Anything you wanted to say?
I feel like I've already.
You did it.
I mean,
shattered.
yeah, it's just the point of to hark back to that fucking article again. They've purely done it to get the pat in the back after the fans who have for years, other teams, as I said earlier, have been trying to diminish this maybe the grandeur of achievements, trying to bring it down and tear down what we've achieved, but to then join in with that after losing and no getting a treble and then saying it's boring, all for that just to get Graham Spears to retweet it, and then you're retweeting his quote tweet just to try and show. I don't know if they're going to try and move their podcast into the more mainstream sphere, but I certainly won't be fucking listening.
I was going to close off with a final statement before we went to half time. I would just like to remind anybody watching at home that might not agree with the opinions that you hear here, nobody is forcing any opinion on you, even my opinion, an opinion from an article or whatever. You're allowed to be entitled to your own opinion following Celtic. If you do feel down and about it, that's fine. I don't know why, but we're not saying that you don't need to. We're not saying you need to be on our line of thinking. But all I am saying is, lighten up. Right, half-time. Calum, I believe you're hosting the half-time quiz this afternoon, which is a reverse. We're reverting back to the old football rondo. We've not done that in a while.
We have not actually.
What is it?
So it's the one where it's like there's the alphabet, and Calum will say the question, give you a question, and it's. I'll let him explain it if he's got it wrote in there or whatever.
Aye. So Nathan, very kindly, thankfully, done as a quiz. He sent me one over. So he said for the rondo quiz, they all have a time limit, and each question they get right is a point, but a wrong answer or a pass, and the time stops, it moves to the next player. The one for you, so let's just start off. You've got A.
Right.
You get it, you start with time, it goes to B, C, D, E, it works its way around.
Right.
Just try to figure out how we'll tally points.
Aye,
You know what I mean?
aye.
Even if you can just kind of keep that wee
The
mental
one
note.
you've got
Yeah.
right, basically.
Aye, everyone
Aye.
you get right, just keep it
aye.
keep it in your hands, right?
Aye.
That should be easy. Kieran, I'll let you be the timer since you've got the timer up there. We're all aware of how it works. We're going to use a 90-second time limit for this. I said just so we.
So obviously I think it's about Celtic's football.
Yeah.
I hope so.
So yeah, everything is obviously, of course, Celtic related.
Right.
So yeah, so just covering through it there. As just said, that should be enough. Said obviously, don't know how long you want to give them. Just say we'll go for the 90.
90 seconds.
And we see how long we fire through.
Right.
How are we going to start us off?
Oh, I've got to do a.
Just kind of
Aye,
heads
we've
or
got to, 'cause it's
tails.
not, it's, somebody gets an unfair advantage. So, well, somebody gets the advantage starting first, don't they? Because they might get going, they might get cooking. So, can you do a freeway rock, paper, scissors? Aye.
Nah, we'll try.
Then
rock,
a
paper,
knockout. Aye, it should be a rock, paper, scissors.
Then, aye.
2 hours later.
Right, we've figured out the order for Football Rondo. Calum is ready to host. Dylan will be kicking us off. If he gets an incorrect answer, it heads to me. If I get an incorrect answer, it heads to Kieran. Calum, I'll let you do a wee countdown and ask your first question, mate.
Fine, so starting off down. 3, 2, 1. A. Celtic are set to face which European giant in pre-season?
Oh, Newcastle? Oh no, it's Arceus, pass.
Aye.
Yes, hex, here we go. Kieran, B. Which Scottish club's second name is our rivals?
Wait, what? Sorry.
So, which Scottish club's second name is our rivals?
Pass, my head just went blank.
Ryan, so then pass yourself.
Which
So, which Scottish club's second name is our rivals? Maybe Matt.
I'm not so sure. Pass.
I think
The Bears.
I was going for it. Brora Rangers.
I was trying to
B,
think of what
aye.
other team was.
Right, so
Fuck the
then-
time, but there's no point in keeping a timer on this. We're on B with 40
Let's
seconds to go.
Let's start that again. So jump. Kieran, C. Which former English striker briefly joined us with the letter as alliteration?
Calum Cole.
Go. Dylan, D. Who are the top seeds in Scotland's upcoming qualifying campaign? That's a wee twist, isn't it? So D. Who are the top seeds in Scotland's upcoming qualifying campaign?
Denmark.
As indeed. Ryan, E. Before Engels, who was our record arrival?
Edward.
Kieran, F. Which side will be joining the Premiership for the first time in 15 years? G. Which former Celt recently said he would be open to rejoining the club one day?
Giacomakis.
H. Which side drew Dunfermline, Hamilton, Dumbarton and Stirling Albion in the League Cup group stage?
Hearts.
Sorry, I've lost myself here. Right. Name 3 Celtic players ever to begin with this letter. We're on I.
Azagiri.
Oh.
Fuck. Oh, pass, I won't be here all day.
It's fine. Join yourself.
I pass.
Oh, for the love of Christ. Izagiri.
Try to think.
I still
If it
can't
comes
think.
back to me.
Izagiri. Pass.
You could have had Izagiri, Iwata, Ida, Iraguchi, and Jackson Irvin. Irvin, of
I was
course.
like, I was just gonna say an Irwin just to see what you guys
So we're Jai, so jumps back to self. You know, which player left us to join Montpellier?
Julian.
Go. Okay. Who is Kilmarnock's manager? Now been announced.
Pass.
Oh, Kettlewell.
There we go. Okay, Kieran L. Which full name of Celt scored 40 goals in a season?
Lee Griffiths.
Go. Sorry, just need to scroll down a wee bit. Dylan M. City, which Lewis Morgan departed to?
Pass.
Miami.
There we go. Kieran N. Full name of Celt who left in 2012, staying in Scottish football, now at Greenock Morton.
What letter are we on?
N.
Ah, fuck. Pass.
Sorry, can I get a question again?
Yep, so it's the name of the full Celt who left in 2012, staying in Scottish football. He is now at Greenock Morton.
N.
Can't know who it is.
Pass.
Nesbitt.
Niall McGinn.
I'll make it.
Fucking hell.
Oh, so it was yourself. Which item was recently thrown onto the pitch as a protest?
Orange.
There we go. P. Which city did Dembele give us a UCL lead after 1 minute?
Paris.
Go. Q. Where did Alistair Johnson play his last game before joining Celtic?
His last game for Quebec.
That's where my head went.
That's what I thought.
know the answer. Shit. No.
That's straight away what I'd have thought.
No, you bastard.
Qatar.
That is indeed.
Fucker.
Dylan R. Former Celt to just regain promotion to the Premier League weekend.
Pass.
R plays for Livingston.
No. Sorry, it's not been murdered, but English Premier League. Sorry, I should have said that first.
Oh.
Let me double it back to
Aye,
that.
go
Could
on,
have just done it with a
sorry,
word.
on you go, aye.
Roberts.
That is indeed.
should
I've just
have
done it
said
with a word there.
Premier
Could have just said Premier League. That's my bad. I should have worded it there. S. The only Ukrainian to ever play for Celtic.
What's his face? Him, the winger. Shved.
Go. Kieran T. How many league games did Celtic win this year?
27.
Bounces.
29.
29 it is
Aye,
indeed.
fast
Let's go see yourself, Ryan. You, cult hero to only play one game versus Real Betis 2021.
It's no, is it? What was the letter?
You.
Or a giddy?
Yep. Kieran V. Player we sold to Leeds in 2000.
Okay.
Go. Jump to yourself. W. Former Celt who just qualified for the Champions League in Italy.
Sorry, Calum, can you say that again?
No, you're fine. Former Celt who just qualified for the Champions League in Italy. We're on W.
Pass.
W? Playing in Italy? What W's playing in Italy? Pass? I don't know. We'll make it interesting. Pass.
I know, pass.
Where?
Ah,
Juventus.
Aye.
Next one we came round to, so it was back
we
to
doing the
yourself.
full 2 alphabets here.
No, we'll just do the one. We'll be here all week if we do it both, man. Jesus.
Full name of Real Madrid's manager. Obviously, now just been
Xavi
announced.
Alonso.
Go. Ryan, team we signed Dyson Maeda from.
What's the letter?
Why?
Yokohama F. Marinos.
Go. And Z to finish off there, Kieran. Former Celtic Paul.
Zeliska.
Go.
So we both got 8.
I think I get 6 or 7. So.
Right, so the way
Sure,
to
I
do a
did.
sudden death here is to go through the next alphabet and just go back and forth with me and Kieran until like a sudden death on pen.
I'm just going to do a wee quick. This next one
Right.
is all Celtic, so there's no wee bits there that
Right,
we would
okay.
wear.
I enjoyed
This
the
is
wee
just
bits coming in though.
strictly out. Right.
Right, so me and
Tell
Kieran
I.
both got 8.
Watch it fucking get watched back by the audience. So I don't actually
Yeah.
win that.
I'm not going to lie, that actually low scout. I don't think I got as many as used to.
Right, so you got to do a wee quick rock, paper, scissors, just decide this.
Shoot.
I went here. I'll let you go first. Man, you go.
Right, Kieran, start us off. Which former Celtic Invincible shares a name with a current Kilmarnock winger?
Stuart Armstrong.
Go. Ryan. B. Player who loves a few pints and a drive.
So who's been done for drink driving?
What a question.
Is that a question? Who's been done for drink driving? Because I was straight. This is it. I might lose already. I can't. Bernaby.
There we
I
go.
was going to say out of Boric.
Come on, we'll get it.
Kieran. C. Former Celt Leal Abada is at which MLS side?
Charlotte.
Go. Ryan. D. Team that's just went down to the Scottish Championship. Whether they're based and just lost in the playoffs.
Oh, Ross County Dingwall.
Go D. Dingwall.
And Dingwall.
Kieran E. Full name of Celtic Academy graduate currently playing in Belgium. That's on.
Oh shit. Full name. Academy credit playing in Belgium.
I wouldn't have got that either.
Nah.
Oh, that's fill me with fucking questions. Do you know what?
No.
Nah, I don't have a fucking clue.
Oh, Scooby.
I'm struggling to even think of one that begins with an E. Ah, fuck. I don't want to keep it 0 today, so I'll just pass on that. And
But
if-
did I get F or E here?
E. So it's still E.
What was the question? Who playing in Belgium's academy?
Full name of Celtic Academy graduate currently playing in Belgium.
No clue. Pass.
His brother also moved to Italy. It's Ewan Henderson.
Oh, Christ.
Can I told you he was in Belgium? But
no idea.
No.
next one. So then go back to yourself, Kieran. F. Johnny Hayes kit number.
15.
Ryan. Nationality of Marvin Comper.
German.
H. Full name of coach who left last season.
Harry Q.
Go. I. Nationality of Abu Kouassi.
Ivorian.
J. Most goal involvement from a defender in the league.
Johnson.
K. Striker who played 4 months in 2016.
4 months. Nader Sifchi. So Kieran wins. Who is it?
Colin Kazim Richards.
Well done, Kieran. Congratulations. I didn't even ask the letter.
That's why they said Chief Cheers.
Aye.
Why did you not just ask me about it?
I thought you thought Chief was spelled that.
Kieran wins the longest half-time quiz there's ever been. On the longest Super Bowl half-time show.
With 3 ad breaks during that full quiz.
We were meant to spend this part of the show going on about next year and what we hope to see, but I think it might be just wiser for me to dive into the Twitter questions.
We do have a question or two catered to that,
That's
so
fine.
we could just...
Yeah,
I've
just
got them up
do
here
that
if you
10
want
minute.
to
Doesn't
through them
matter.
quickly, just to get batter through. So, thank you to everybody who has contributed over the course of the year. I must say, it's always my favourite part of the show, this, whether it's daft fucking food questions or ranking films or whatever it is. Thank you for your questions and keep it up next year. We want your food questions back and stronger than ever. So for the last time this season, we're doing no dumb questions. We start with Decky, who says we need to do everything in our power to keep Hattati at the club during the summer. Anyways, next time you're all in Ireland, get yourself to a Centra deli counter up the leather belts. Well, I've just booked Dublin today. I'm going to Dublin in August, so there you go.
By the way, I love Centra.
Have you?
I
Well, you got the time, didn't you?
You see the ice cream in there? I don't know if it was so good. I used to see as a wee guy, I was like, I need to go to Centra.
I'm
not leaving.
I'm not familiar with what it is.
Nah,
It's like a
neither.
wee, it's like sometimes you get the garages, I'm sure if it's just on top of it, and it's like it's basically like a wee
Just
corner
a
shop,
deli.
but it's made fancy. Aye, you go.
What is it they're all daft for? Is it like chicken fillet?
chicken
rolls
fillet
and
roll,
all
that?
that? Like,
Chicken
those
fillet
are-
rolls,
aye, because
I
is
see what
this
you're
the
talking
sort of place you would get a chicken fillet roll at? I'm quite confused. But in terms of Hattati, but we've been kind of talking for the past few months as if he's somebody that will be leaving in the summer. I hope he doesn't, but I feel like we've all kind of resigned ourselves to the fact because it feels like it might just be the time.
Have you seen what Peter Grant's come out and said? Celtic should take 10 million for him in the summer. Do you not think that's ludicrous?
That's low.
10 million?
That's low.
He thinks that Celtic would take it.
He must be going Dale Alli getting locked up in that Celtic TV box. Just doesn't get to leave it.
10 million,
I
but
think it's just that he's just one of the players because he's been that good the other years. It's like if he has a wee bad game here and there, don't get me wrong, I'm in that side, I know it can be frustrating, but the cup final just showed how important he was, and if it is the last time he's played at Celtic, it's a shame just because of the injury as well.
aye, we need to keep him, I think, Calum. If we can. If he wants to move, fair enough, you move him on, you replace him, but I think keeping him would just be huge.
Oh, massively. Again, the boost it would, one, give the players around him, but two, I don't want to say it sounds like a saving grace, but potentially that game at Pittodrie could almost hinder because he's not exactly going to be fit to go and do medicals. So at least, seeing if, for example, he's not fully match fit until the end of August, you're going into transfer window shut and you're like, class, at least you've even got another 6 months in him.
Aye.
But I'd love him to stay as much
So
longer.
what you're saying is we need to injure him before.
Yes.
So,
See the hang of Stone Cold, Vince McMahon? Just that.
Doink with his pan energy. The thing is, we've not been given a timescale of his injury, so we have no idea when he's even meant to be fit. Who knows? Maybe we do manage to keep him to January. If he doesn't move this window, I'm convinced he'll go in January anyway. But if we could keep him for the first stage of the Champions League, would be.
Is there ever been any like concrete bids in that in for Hattati? Because I feel like every transfer window we talk about this.
I would hear little
like,
rumoured,
this might be the one where we might lose him in that, but I've not really heard anything concrete in the past couple of windows. But
You always hear that there's teams looking at him, Brighton being one of them, but they've got Riley now. And
I'm kind of glad he is, but maybe falling back under the radar because he's so important for us. But
27, 28 though. He's coming to that age where if he wants a move, now's the time to get it. So
Kyogo waited too late and now he's not even on the fucking bench yet.
Adam's in for the final time this season saying, another season done. What's your plans over summer? August now until I have a kebab pie. Fucking hate this shit. We all feel that. Adam. We all feel that. Didn't even get one at Hampden.
I know, that was another thing I should have said. I'm like, as soon as I put it in the chat today, I'm like, the second we went up to that kiosk and they ran out, I'm like, the game's a fucking bogey.
They couldn't have ran out. We were in pretty early.
I know.
They must have just had none. Bastards.
Hampden, man.
Hampden.
That is a gutter for him because I mean I can go and get a kebab pie at the butcher's if I want, but I doubt there is a here in Ireland just really.
I know. It's a gutter, man. Plans for August then, very briefly, Calum, what are you up to?
I've been holiday at the end of July into August and then also back into the football.
You not got to Santa Ponds anymore now?
You said plans for
I know,
August.
you did miss.
Did I?
That's fine, but just August.
Shit, my bad, sorry.
Um,
Feel like a right twat.
Aye, obviously Santa Ponds of but then just August. Gutted because I'm away for opening game of the season, but
Aye.
yeah, I'll still be able to catch it and then back into it when I'm back.
I know the pain, mate. Dylan, what about you? What you up to?
No, not much. I think it's just this is the first summer in a while I can try and save money because I think April and May was that busy. Sometimes I'm like, hey, get a wee break in June, but I think I'm going down to Bristol for like a stag do July, to run about that way or something, just because it's like the guy's local bit and that. So, and I just try and save money. And I'm waiting. We're still waiting about Mania. So until then, I need to keep everything I've got. So,
Nah, well, it's true. And Kieran, obviously, you're Santa Ponds there.
I've actually not got anything else planned. And
Maybe a trip to Como.
trip to a trip to wherever, but I just hopefully get away for the qualifier as well in August. So
Aye, see how we get. Same as me, mate. There you
I just walk away in that.
David Turnbull, food question is rate the Golden Valley at Bud Hill.
I know, I've seen that. Sure, that's so niche.
That's
but
so local. FYP getting too local. Rate it a 10.
See, I feel like I've only had a snack box for it once, and it's because like our pals like used to go to it when we were in school. I mean, it is the one right next to like the Greg's across for the ribbon, isn't it, Bud Hill? I never thought it was anything special. I didn't think it was terrible.
I
but
think I've only had a chicken fried rice with it in 2016, so I can't rate it.
and it's been a fair few years. I might be talking bad on their name, but it was name earned a 6 for me. But they could have upped their game in the past fucking 8 years. But
Have you ever had one, Cam?
Can't say I have. Need to get ourselves back. Should I get one last week? Kieran's.
Aye.
it's a perfect chance.
Aye.
Right, on that note, then, to give me an answer of some form, right? Not thinking, just give your answer. Your favourite Chinese in the city?
Superfoods.
Superfoods,
And
Bailison.
I don't know. I categorise them into like sitting in a takeaway.
Go any. Just pick what one would you
Go
ultimately
takeaway.
pick? Go takeaway then. Go takeaway.
Let's walk and roll. Up at Springburn.
What a name.
I know. What a name. But, beautiful.
Dylan, you got one?
just maybe a local. My local's quite good deli spice up Cashmoke, so
Nice.
miles for you, but if he's ever fancy it one day, you're down. That's where you go.
I'm a Posan man. Or the East End mob, not a Posan. But it's not as good as it used to be.
Since you took your seat, so.
Since he took his seats. No, it's not been the same. He said, as there's no Celtic bet for the weekend, he wants a tip each for the Champions League final. Inter Milan. Go for it, full settle, mate.
I'm on the spot, right?
Right, Champions League final, one thing, don't think, just say it.
Fabian Ruiz card.
Right.
Both teams do score.
Right.
A Cherby card.
Oh, I'll go for...
He's a goal scorer.
I was going to say somebody any time, but I was stuck between a couple. I'll go... I don't want to go for the plain and obvious Ousmane Dembele anytime. Ousmane Dembele anytime. I was thinking about going for that wee Dewey, but will he start?
Maybe.
If he starts Dewey, if he
Dewey,
doesn't...
Then hang on
Dembele.
this time. That'd be Vitinha. Yeah, fucking
Oh, he's a
player, man.
as well. He's a
So
player
good.
as well. There's your bet, though. Make it up. Right. Jack Strang, if Rodgers was to leave after next season, after his third year, who would be your realistic ideal candidate to take over, and who would be your dream candidate? It's always such a difficult question because you just don't know
Who's gonna be available,
Going to be
isn't it?
available.
Dream candidate, Ange, when he gets sacked eventually. I'm promising too much this season.
Do you think that'll be the most people's...
I think
Answer.
like if Rodgers left at the end of the season and Ange was to get sacked and he was available, it would be inevitable that everybody would want Ange back, and
Yeah.
I think he'd be daft not to want him back.
Aye. I think he would get it as well. I could take it.
I don't know if he would.
I was gonna say, Jackie would want to
come
I,
back.
I
I
feel
could
like
take
he'd
it.
maybe want another.
But he's,
sham.
he's like 62. He's not getting any younger.
Well, it's right, you still
suppose,
get Champions League football here again. If we've improved by
I
then.
think he'd take it.
Welcome back, Ange.
Put it this way, if the jobs are on the table for him, he's not going to get any better than Spurs.
Do you think that is, we're saying dream candidate, do you think that's a realistic one as well now?
I think it's
I think it's still
I think
doable.
I'd
Aye.
answer that for the same.
I think you could put both of them under the same umbrella. Aye.
You've got
Welcome
both
back.
hands.
I think
Trent,
a banjo
what do you-
again.
I
Aye.
wanted him to come back just because see when I was like going through my first tattoo phases, I wanted to be never stopped and then he left, so I wanted to come back so I can get my tattoo final.
You know, get a Gucci belt one. Something like that.
Gucci belt tattoo.
I would say Ange and I don't know who I'd categorise as dream and realistic. Maybe this one would be more than the dream. Still such a fan of the idea of Kieran McKenna. I would really like that. I know they just got relegated, right? But he's fucking at the Ipswich. And probably the better out the three that went down. So, I don't know. Just still something about him that I think would be a good...
What was the name of that mad random manager for the City group that somebody spotted in
Des
Glasgow?
Buckingham.
What's his name come back up?
Where is he? Was at, I know he was at Oxford for a bit, but I think they sacked him. Because he was getting linked with a Hearts job.
Did you?
Aye, but he obviously never got it. What do you think Celtic need to improve on the most going into next season? You already kind of mentioned striker earlier.
I think so, and then maybe just like not to be too harsh, but maybe the bench a wee bit. I just think you see that a lot towards. Well,
So you think more depth than
for Champions League anyway, I
Aye.
think, because if you want to get to that next level, cause we all talk about we had a good campaign, but obviously you want to just keep dreaming and get to that next level, and I think that's one of the key things, and I think maybe a centre defensive mid as well.
Aye, so that's what well, actually, I'm going to say a starting centre half.
That's mine.
That's a good
that
point,
is
aye.
striker.
I feel like we've had too much uncertainty around that left,
If
the one on the left hand side this season. I want it. I'm sick of the same shit every year. I want another cut of Vickers and
Wake
Vickers.
up, Vickers.
Anything we've no said, Calum?
A left back, because we don't
Back
really know the
at it.
current situation. Just another backup to it for KT, because again, we know what's like with injuries. And then I think as both of them touched on, a holding midfielder, because again, it's not if Calmack's getting any younger. It'd be nice to have somebody when, for example, we noticed that period when he was missing against Rangers at Parkhead.
Aye.
You'd like to have somebody that's solid that just rotates right in.
Aye. I think they're all cracking answers. The shopping list is big, put it that way. Liam, your number one fan, says, "Evening lads, Kieran, you have been an inspiration this season to me and my family." Anyway,
Even the family.
just wondering what your thoughts are on the 16-17 third top.
Pink one.
Pink, hate it.
Still a bit
I
of
don't
muck.
like it.
It's not as bad as the silver and pink, but it's still.
I know, I'd agree with that.
It was
but
see, what did you say? Do you like it?
No, we were talking about it muck the other
Oh,
day,
right,
because one of the boys, Zach, he's Australian, gives fuck all, like does not care for football at all.
Aye.
So we've just brainwashed him with all the Celtic stuff. It's brilliant. We're talking about kits.
Aye.
I was not a big fan.
See, I thought in the promotional photos when it came out it looked alright, but see in person it was a horrible shade of pink.
I mean, it was meant to be the shade for the ticket in Lisbon, isn't it? Something like that.
Stained glass window.
Fucking rolling them out again.
No,
I just think that 1-0 game away at Kelly. That was the only
Aye,
time I
Friday night
I
game.
think that is surely that is the only time we were at.
I think so, aye.
He says to us three that we've had a great glow up.
Yeah, class.
Which is nice.
Aye.
You
What
mind,
about me?
and then you mind that time where Armstrong scored in a 1-1 draw at Parkhead. Some laugh. Hell.
Aye, because
That
they
game.
go
That's my
against
birthday.
Rangers.
Aye, it'll be
That's
that.
my birthday.
And then Matt O'Reilly's go against them last
Dead
year.
similar,
Was
wasn't
the
it?
exact same, basically.
Aye.
Mark
One of my
McQueen,
favourites,
remember
please.
that end of season TSF episode where you all got steaming and done a podcast? An absolute classic. He's wanted to do it again on the Thunder this time. I like that, the Thunder. You know,
Nah.
the Thunder. I've got to listen to the Thunder. You know? He wanted to do it on the fan. Love the pod, big fan. Wanted to do it on the pod, love the fucking pod.
I would love to do that.
Aye,
I
but
wouldn't like the idea of having to get a fucking train back. Wishaw, but this is in the middle of nowhere in terms
Aye.
of going somewhere after it. But
I reckon we'll do it one day. Maybe Christmas or something. Coming
aye,
up.
it'd be better.
That'd be class.
The people deserve it. The people deserve it.
He does.
Yeah.
we need this.
CB7 says, same as last week, but more appropriate for the final episode. Goals for the club next season?
Tough at this, like immediate reaction after this. I mean, it's obviously just try to better what we've done this season. I think that's got to be the benchmark.
Win a treble back?
Get a treble back and try and get to that next stage in Europe. I think that's.
Hope for a good draw again.
Aye.
Aye. Might not be so lucky this year.
I know. I mean, you see the teams piling up into the competition. It's pretty.
Oh, it's mad amount of spaces already filled up.
for the Super League.
Nah.
Aye. So, I'm looking forward to being back in this studio come August. I think we'll have a lot to talk about, a lot to be excited about, and we'll be predicting loads, I think, at that point. One last quiz then, lads. One last quiz to finish off the season. We're picking up where we left off last week. Now, Calum, you weren't here last week, but essentially Nathan, our new quizmaster, gave us a three-man quiz with 10 questions each. So we done the 5 questions last week. We're going to finish it off this week. The winner was you.
You beat me in the
Was it-
tiebreaker.
Oh,
wasn't it?
oh, that's right.
The wee
So,
possession.
Calum, I'll give you the courteousness of. I'll be courteous to let you decide if you'd like to be set 1, 2, or 3.
I'll take 2. Doesn't
2.
matter.
I just remembered. Do you not have a set of these?
Aye, I've got to say I've got yours, haven't
Aye.
I? Aye, I've got yours.
That's quite set 2.
So-
innit? That's the one that Calum just picked.
Aye, so I do Calum's then. Oh wait, how's it work? How's it work?
Just send me them. Send me them in WhatsApp. Copy and paste them.
Got a signal now.
Wait, hold on. Just show him. If you know the question, just show him what one. Like, what one's he got on his phone now?
Set 2. Calum's.
Aye, it's sorted then.
Right. So you just ask Calum's.
Right, cool.
Right. Dylan, you want to set 1 or 3?
What was that last week? I'll just same again. Just same as last week.
Which was set
1.
Can't remember.
I think it was. Actually,
You're last. So Dylan, you're up first.
I think it was actually.
You ready?
On you go.
Question 1 for you, Dylan. Who has been named in more matchday squads this season? Nawrowski or Bain?
I mean, it's just that I'm saying surely it's not okay, but for some reason I'll go Bain. It's
Nawrowski.
what a trick question, no.
It's Nawrowski. I think Bain was in 1 the whole season or
I
something.
just thought it was a trick question.
Right, so you ask Calum his
I
question.
mean,
to
that
do
game
then.
on Ireland with Ben.
Aye, it was dreadful.
I watched the thing you tweeted earlier and then dropping the ball in the net.
Right, Calum. How many players reached 50 appearances for Celtic so far this season? So just how many in general. You don't need to name them, no.
Appearances is wild when you think about it.
I don't know.
4?
It was 6.
Oh, wow. Hope we rotated, man.
That's a hard one.
Right, Kieran, to set up the first correct answer, after his excellent returns against St Mirren, what was hailed as Yang's reasoning for his upturning form?
Oh, his girlfriend coming off a career.
Well done, Kieran.
Hey, man, getting his knack king.
Aye, that's what done it. Dylan, to equalise, how many league penalties have we scored this season?
Have a clue. Five.
It's more than that.
Aye?
It's 8.
Aye.
Don't think.
Arnie
I can't remember
Pengels,
any.
Arnie Pengels, mate.
Oh, right enough, Engel.
I remember the fucks at start.
Callum, your question 2, courtesy of Dylan.
Aye. So the same question again, Cam, but name 4 of the 6 that have got 50 appearances.
Rio,
Yes.
Dyson,
Yes.
There is one I cannot believe.
I know.
you said.
I know, but I just quizzed been in McGregor.
Yes.
Trying to confuse it for too long. So what men is it I need to name?
Just one more.
One more. Let's shoot that
Give
data.
the option of
Sorry.
3.
Rio. Who did I say?
Rio McGregor.
Dyson and Carl Vickers.
It was Engels, Kunert, Ida.
I think Engels. For
so
some reason,
lucky.
so many.
That's
Yeah.
your
Couldn't you?
Did you
Go
just
back in the chairs over there.
Right, Kieran, question number 3 for you. 2. In November, Celtic set up a controversial money-making scheme. What was it?
What month did you say?
November.
Controversial money making scheme.
Aye, I
Um,
forgot about this.
I can't remember that.
I'm not quite sure. Was it crypto or something?
No, what were you thinking?
That virtual part of the park king or
Own
something.
a piece of paradise.
Ah, was it?
I forgot about that.
Aye.
So, Dylan, this is a good quick chance for you to get your second right. No,
no,
you've not
I've
got
only
any.
got
That's
one,
right.
no.
Aye, it's only Calum. Who scored Celtic's opening goal in the Champions League this season?
Liam Skills.
Cool. Right in there. Correct. Right,
I worried I answered too fast. And I'm like, oh no.
Calum's question
Aye,
again.
Right, Callum, so your third question, how many European countries did we visit this season?
Well, me personally, I went to.
Just to take Ryan's and then...
How we defining one here as a country?
'Cause I mean, are you counting like?
Aye, I know. That's what I was thinking. I'd count that as a country.
I assume.
No, my fucking
But-
country. Tell you that.
Right, see, I know what one you're talking about now, but I don't know how would you.
Just count it as a country.
Just count it as one,
Count it as a
right.
country. Even if it's not done in that, I'll give it if it's
Right.
right. TikTok.
I don't know, he's going blank.
Mind we've got a Thunder Club to record, Gal.
Is it 4?
Great!
It was Germany, nearly fucking stumped me out of any of them.
I know, 'cause I
I'm
went
like,
twice.
I'm at Munich, guy.
So level.
Right, Kieran, come on, son.
Aye,
Before
aye, right.
I've already got a point.
I was going to say, because you said
can
add
take
a
a
point,
lead
but I
here.
was like, it's him.
I thought you said
So that would put us all a point apiece.
So he's got a game in hand.
But then
I thought you said that's why I didn't get one right. Right. Before Saturday, how many Scottish Cups had Celtic won?
Fuck.
I mean, it was the same after Saturday.
I was going to say that.
I'm reading it
I'm
because the
actually
questions
trying
are
to
all.
remember for...
Because his first one was Yang. Aye.
42.
Correct. Well done.
That's
Two
right.
for you. Aye. There's two. Right, Dylan, your penultimate question. Name 4 of the 5 penalty takers in the League Cup final.
4.
Aye.
Ida,
Correct.
McGregor,
Correct.
Batati, Ingles.
Correct. And Maida would have been the
That
last.
would have been the last.
So, Calum, your penultimate question.
2 set up Kuhn in Munich.
I'm like, Minju.
Eisen?
Correct.
Aye. Just trying to remember.
Oh, so that's 2-2-2. Is it?
And I've still got
Desmond.
Aye, this is
Aye.
aye. Kieran, your second last question. Our first league drop points were in which month?
October.
Correct. 2 each against Aberdeen, wasn't it?
Ah,
So-
fuck, I came for 2.
Dylan, your final question. Which team did Viljamis and Salo make his league debut against? Now I'll remember this because I have a reason to remember it.
Oh dear.
Drumming that day.
Can't remember if I had any before Schmeichel's injury. I'm just going to say Hearts.
Correct. It was. And the reason I remember is because I watched it in the Cock Tavern in London. That's how I remember. Right, Cam, your last question.
Right, final question, Calum. What is the aggregate score in the Scottish Cup this season? I was going to say, I take it this was before the Aberdeen game. though, so-
And before the
So,
Aberdeen game.
right up to the semis then.
Aye. And then you can throw in the Aberdeen game if you like.
Right.
And we'll add it in if it's correct. Type of question that I would throw numbers at it because I cannot remember
Aye.
the score.
I can only remember it for one game. Because I can't remember who played.
Like Calum's got multiple ones in it.
I know, he's got the fucking mental arithmetic.
That's why Yang was started to play so good.
Eight 2.
14-1.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
fuck's sake, I don't know why I went so low. Can I
Can't
picture
remember
off the games?
I've been here going,
You've won?
Can I picture off the game?
Well.
Done.
I think so. Aye.
He's got 3. And you've got...
Did you get that one right?
Aye.
Aye. I still need.
So you need this to win.
Mm-hmm.
I think we draw, I can't remember.
This should be your 4th.
Aye, my penultimate question. Aye.
This is your last question.
Is it?
Aye.
Aye.
So this is it to win. Which year did Scott Bain join Celtic? Which calendar year? I'm not looking for
I
the
know.
season. Calendar year.
Transfer window was it? Because I remember. I'll just say 2019. Because obviously his game time started after that, but I don't know if it was that
Now
one.
the answer that I've got down here
18?
is 2018.
So it might have been the summer one.
I think it's put the hang about 7 years.
Was it no his
Maybe.
debut was a 3-2, wasn't it?
The
Ibrox.
Miller's Day
Aye.
game.
So,
So that's the. Oh fuck! I had my ears rang in my head there.
aye. Unlucky, son.
Bastard.
Unlucky. So that means it's a tiebreaker.
Another
between yous
tiebreaker.
two.
I love
Right.
tiebreakers.
Got to do the same as last week. I'm going to pick a random game of
Oh,
football
I should have done that in case.
that has happened. And I am going to pick...
He's got to pick a Turkish League 2 or something, man.
No, I'm going to go quite obvious. I'm going to go for the Conference League final between Real Betis and Chelsea. Dylan, first, you, how much possession did Betis have?
I'm so bad at this, man. 40, 44.
Kieran.
35.
Your winner this week is Mr. Kieran Auld because the correct answer was 34% possession. So you were a % off. Well done,
Take
Kieran.
it.
And well done to the winner of our last quiz this season. Tell you, next year I will make sure the league table runs to the very end. I fucking swear of it. I have
I'm
no
also,
excuse.
I went an alright.
You had
I
a
know
good season. You
mid-season.
might have been the winner this year. by the way.
Mid-season, then I tailed off.
You might have been the winner this year. That brings us to the end of the longest podcast we've done in the history of our podcast. Actually, it won't be that bad after we edit out some of the
Nah,
bits at the
that's
end.
it.
So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us over the course of the year. It has been an absolute pleasure. Kieran, anything you'd like to say to the lovely viewers until you next speak to them?
Thanks again for tuning in for a lot of the season. I mean, that's what our 5th actual season now. Doing it 4.5, but
Aye.
5 seasons. So I mean, it's mental people still want to watch and listen to my shite. So I appreciate it.
Some people might know after the day.
I might have burnt some bridges, but that's just me.
That's Kieran. Dylan, your first season in the show, mate. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for coming on board with us.
Nah, thanks for having us. It's been a fun cut-off. Well, we'll say cut-off, it's been a lot now, but been a class, good few Thursdays we use talking about Celtic. So buzzing for next season.
Looking forward to it. And Calum, you as well, all-timer, been here from the get-go. Thank you again. Anything you'd like to say before we go?
No, I think it's just everybody said it. It's just a big thank you to the folk that continue to tune into us, and the folk that listen to our shite, and all the questions that continue to come in. God bless them.
God knows how they do it. Keep in mind, you can still keep in touch with us sparingly throughout the summer if you miss us over in the Thunder Club. But until we see you next season, have a safe and joyful summer. We hope to see you on the other side. Take care. We'll see you all next time.